Good morning. Denise Dryden out here on Bainbridge Island in front of my steady tree behind me. It's really windy and sort of blustery, so maybe you'll hear some of that in the background. Today I want to talk about creating collaboration. And collaboration is a topic I've talked about twice already, back in January, the 13th and the 20th. So if you want to go back and look at those videos, you can see them. I sort of define it and sort of set the parameters up of it. And I want to go back 11 months later and say, now's the time when we really want to start talking about collaboration, right? Because collaboration is our ability to work with one another, to work with others, to partner, to problem solve, to create new concepts. And all of this is what we're being asked to do right now, especially, in our political and social arenas. And, what we want to do is we want to look at what's going on out there and then say, what can I do here right now to make a difference? Because if we go to the microcosm, if we go to us, this is how we start to make change, is we do it with ourselves first. So today I want to explore collaboration between you and another person, right? So that could be a parent-child relationship, that could be an adult-to-adult relationship, it could be a love relationship, a friendship, a colleague. But I want you to sort of bring up a relationship in your mind, and let's go through some of these components of collaboration and see what you discover about yourself. And I've been getting my butt kicked with collaboration this last week because I'm learning where am I good at collaborating and where do I hit my walls. So get specific, and then let's go to the first one, which is number one. In order to collaborate with this person, it's essential that you have your own world in order. You have to have your own, like my own little, my snow globe, my own world has to be completely in order. And so that means that if I'm going to come into collaboration, have to have self-awareness. I have to know how I approach information, especially new information, how I hold respect for myself and for the other. What does respect really look like? Is it like, or is it like, oh, that's interesting? So how do I use my emotional intelligence? How aware am I of feelings that come in and go, and what my reactions are to those? My body language, is it open? Is it pensive? Is it frowning? Is it trying to concentrate? Like, be aware of what my language says. Eye contact, open posture, all of that. How to build trust. How to hold that trust exists and to keep nurturing it along and to create safety in that environment. So that's sort of where I start first. Here's me and how do I show up? And then once I know that I'm all the way like, I'm here, I'm doing my very best. Then what I do is I step into the second part, which is in order to collaborate, I have to be able to hear what the other person is saying. I have to be able to hear on so many levels. So it's about listening. It's about listening with my eyes, with my ears, with my body, with like my whole system. It's being able to ask questions and then listen to the answers, and then listen to the space in between the answers, and listen to the space in between the words, to really just let go of any agenda of what I want that answer to be or what my response to that answer is going to be. So I have to be able to just listen and then toss in new ideas, new things, and then watch and listen, because I want to bring up that other person and I want to bring me up. And so how do I let go of listening as a strategic component? To give some time between responses and to remove those next questions. Like, I'm just waiting for you to stop talking so I can ask the next question. This has been the most difficult part of coaching, is learning how to let go of directing that by listening and just listening. So number 3 is to pay attention to those old paradigms that come in, because they're going to come in. They're going to come in and they're going to derail us, right? So they're unknown, they're sudden, it can even surprise you. Like, what the heck? I thought that was done. I didn't think that was going to come in. So some of those might be, age, especially parent to child. You don't understand. I've done this 1,000 times before. I'm older than you are. Experience. When we come into, whether it's relationship experience, whether it's job experience, it's like, hey, I don't want to be insulted by the experience that I have. or our position. It's almost like we're being asked to go neutral, to go anonymous. Like, none of that matters. I am in my own creation who I am right now. None of those labels matter. It also means that some of our roles in the past are going to come up and say, man, when I talk with groups, I have respect and honor, and I just don't feel like that right now. And so noticing that there's these pieces that come in that kind of like derail us. Looking at where our control and our motives and our agendas come from, right? My favorite is judgment, like good or bad, right or wrong. And I think, where's the compassion? So when judgment comes in, it's an old paradigm of mine. Attachment to the outcome. When I step in to collaborate with someone, I still have an idea in my mind of what I want it to look like when it's over. That's not collaboration, that's steering, right? And I work with a lot of parents in their empowerment steering, or in their dialogue steering with their teens. Our past successes, and our stories of who we are and what we do. And, our ability to confirm what has been proven. Like, I know this to be true. Maybe I only know that to be true, but I don't know that the other person that I'm talking to, that I want to try to collaborate with, knows that that is true. And then the other piece is this competition. What if we take competition completely out? And it's not about who's heard, who leads, who follows. It's about who shows up. Which leads me to number 3, which is presence. Presence has to be the desired intention in order to respond and contribute and play and flow. If you are present to all of this, then you can move and shift and respond to what's being said and what is needed. So first, we go to presence, which is that self-awareness, which is all my self-knowledge tools are on alert and they're ready, and I'm using my skills. I'm breathing. I'm accepting my emotions. I'm watching them flow through me, and I'm not responding to them. The other part of being present goes back to the list that I just made, which is, to be open and listen on a cellular level. What do I notice? What am I hearing that isn't being said? What do I feel that I've never felt before? How do I hold myself in check just long enough for some of these patterns to waft by me and not take the bait, not get stuck in them, right? And then the other part of being present is knowing that these patterns are going to come in, and so that there's safety and there's actions that I take when some of my old things come in. Like for me, when judgment comes in, I take a deep breath and I go into compassion, which is I have no idea what that person's experiencing. And sort of those things of when I get unsafe, I power up, or I try to steer, or when I'm overwhelmed, I just want to push away and shut down. So these are some of these things that happens when I'm fully present and I'm aware of what it is I bring into this from my snow globe, right? So when we're present and we allow all of this to inform us, what happens is that we can make choices and we can communicate these choices. So we can say, hey, I need to take a break. I need to slow down. Can you repeat that? I need you to draw that out for me because I'm having a hard time tracking it in my head. And instead of just saying, I don't get it, we ask for, hey, show me how you would communicate this in a different way because I'm not getting it. Or you say just basically, this is what I need. And so when we empower ourselves to show up this way and we ask for what we need, we keep stretching and stretching, which is what is the essence, the beauty of true collaboration, is that we meet another person and we dialogue and we stretch past our comfort zones and we create something that didn't exist before. So now going back to, we talked about this idea that there's being able to, I'm looking at my notes, to bring our own world in order, right? To listen and to pay attention and to hold presence. Then the last piece, which is really important, is to recognize free thought, recognize creativity, to validate, support, and nurture that person. Like, wow, that was a brilliant idea. I love that. Keep going. More and more and more. Or even to validate yourself, which is, wow, I haven't hit this strand before, so I want to run with this. Is it okay with you if I run with this? Let's go there. So play with it. It's kind of like you're on an improv team. So, as I was writing this, I was reminded of My children spent years in Odyssey of the Mind, which later became Destination Imagination. And it is a creative, problem-solving team projects that compete against each other for sort of the highest points, kind of like in ice skating or in the Olympics where there's judges, right? So they have these judges that are going to score them on how they collaborate with each other. So what I noticed is, the first year I went in, it was like, we've got this. And I was noticing that the kids were following one leader, or they were being overcoached by me. In the years to come, as the more I watched it, I realized that the teams that won were the teams that it didn't matter whether they made mistakes or not. It was the way that they looked, and they worked with each other, and they validated, like, hey, that was a good one. And they moved together as an organic organism. And so that's what the judges were looking for as far as the purest form of creativity. So it's inspiring when we think about, what's possible when we really collaborate and support one another. So collaboration is sharing knowledge, and it's sharing wisdom with one another. And it's each coming into it with the desire to create something new that hasn't existed before. Like, let's start thinking of things that are outside the box. Collaboration is also learning. It's, we have to go into collaboration to say, I want to learn about myself. I want to learn about this other person. I want to learn how to access all of these human beings that are involved, 1, 2, 3, a dozen, and create something that honors this creative process. So I think that collaboration is so essential right now. It's really important to collaborate with our kids and find out, what do you know? What do you see? To collaborate with our partners, the ones that we love, to collaborate with our colleagues, to collaborate with our community, which is show up, present, neutral, manage your own snow globe, and participate as you can. So collaboration is allowing yourself to do what wants to happen, to follow it rather than control it. So have fun playing with that this week, and go back and look at those videos if you want more sort of information. And it's November. Have a great time watching the fall, the wind, the bluster, the snow, or leaves falling, or whatever's going on in your world. And I'll see you next Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.